when you have a match like the Quarry match before you, it takes 4.5 hours, and you're expected to go on at 3, you don't go on at 5, you're sitting around for 2 hours. What's going through your head, and how do you keep yourself excited for the match or pumped up or in your pre-game?
I'm a pro at waiting for my match. Singles, doubles, you name it, I've waited. I've waited through rain delays, so that's a part of tennis. You just, there is no certain time that the match before you will end, especially, a match like that. So just gotta expect that maybe it'll go long. And I'm a pretty laid-back person, so I don't get too tight waiting.
Do you do anything in particular, like while waiting?
I just relax and hopefully be ready. Sometimes a match can go really quick. In 5 minutes it's 5-love, and I'm like, whoa, I'm not ready. So just kind of try to watch the score to be ready at the same right time.
So Venus, you go out there, and Francesca was just talking about the windy conditions, and she comes into this match playing very, very high-quality tennis, and you dispatched her in 2 straight sets, and she was complimentary of particularly of your serve today. Just if you could reflect back on the match and tell me what you think.
Yeah, it was. When I walked out there, and I couldn't even warm up my serve because the wind was blowing my toss. And I was like, oh my God, what are we in for today? And on one side, I felt, and I'm a strong player and I hit pretty hard, but I felt like I had nothing, like I was just hitting against. So it was challenging. I don't think either of us were able to play our exact normal game because it was just hard to make a choice in the wind, and I think you end up playing a little bit safer, a little more toward the center of the court. But I feel like, when the stakes were higher, I was able to raise my game. And she did too. She played some great points, and she's just so feisty that you have to kind of keep her at bay. So I was glad I was able to do that.
She said in her press conference that you don't like playing her. Now, I don't know how she garners that, but that's what she said.
Yeah.
And she said the reason was that she pushes you to the wall. She shows you a lot of things that other girls don't. Is that true? Do you not like playing her? Does she present certain challenges to you that stand out?
I like seeing my name next to her name. So I'm good with that.
You're 7-0 against her. Coming into the match. I pointed that out too. But you come in, you're 7-0 against her over the years. You come into the match. She was playing very strong tennis in this tournament, and obviously earlier in the summer.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts coming into the match facing her?
Well, I've played her for so many years, and there have been times where she's had me down. But fortunately, I was able to come back. And I think when your record against a player isn't that great, you have to keep positive and do whatever it takes to get out there and play a good match. And she does that every time. So I know when I play her, I'm going to have to play good tennis. But I really do enjoy our matchups, obviously because I usually come out on top, but I enjoy it.
Venus, can you compare the strength of this field in comparison to maybe past opens?
Every open's different. All I can think about is the one right now. There have been times where I've played players who were out of the top 200 and they played unbelievable, and I had to find a way to win. So it just depends on the day.
Venus, you and Schiavone, the last 2 American singles players, you were both back-to-back on the same court. He didn't escape. You are going on. Do you have any comments about that?
It looks like it was tough out there. Like the wind, you could see that both of them were just trying to make a good play. It wasn't easy. So it's never easy when you have such a big match and kind of your first time in this kind of big situation, and the conditions are crazy. So, but it looked like he set himself up for a lot of opportunities, and that's a good sign, because when you set yourself up for those opportunities, you're like, okay, I know I can get myself there, and now I know that I just need to take that next step to get across the line. So that's good for him.
You've been here before, obviously, but do you feel any responsibility they were asking him on, like, I'm carrying America's hopes now that you lost one?
If I felt like that, I don't think I'd be able to even raise my arm. So, thankfully, I don't feel that way. I think my expectations are enough to deal with. So, I'm just going to hopefully just temper that and just keep that, you know, intact.
Venus, the day was
Sorry,
very
right here.
long. What do you
Sir,
do while
sorry.
you're waiting?
Just hang out. I just hang out, watch the score, eat. Nothing worthwhile, I guess.
Back here?
Venus, Kim just won the first set. If she does happen to go on to win this match, can you just assess, you know, are you looking forward to playing her if she's the defending champ, and can you kind of assess that match a little?
Yeah, we had a great match last year. It was really close, and I'm sure that match, I mean, made a big difference for her because she went on to win the title. So if she wins, I'm sure we'll have another really good matchup. But I'd like to kind of flip the way it turns out.
What are the tactics involved when you play Kim?
Win the point. You know, basically just go out there and just, as I always do, try to execute my game and win the point, win the set. So.
What are your observations of Kim as a player and a person?
Obviously, a great competitor. Plays her best tennis, it seems, at this tournament. So I'm sure it's a place that she feels really comfortable. And, I mean, I don't really know her that well as a person. I kind of see her around, and she always seems pretty pleasant.
What are her unique attributes on the court, though? What makes her different from other players?
Just the ability to compete. And I think in coming back from her layoff, I think she never lost that. Obviously, she's a very good athlete, and when you're a really, really incredible athlete, it really takes your game to another level. So definitely some special kind of God-given talent.
You're now one match victory away from getting back to the U.S. Open final for the first time since 2002. What would it mean to you to get back to that stage?
Well, I want to be in the final because obviously it's just one more step, but I'm just focused on the semis, and I don't get too excited unless the tournament's over. So at this point, I'm just focusing on the semifinals.
Venus, considering your success earlier in your career here on this court, are you surprised it's been this long since you've won?
Yeah, I've always played, you know, I think pretty well here, and unfortunately I missed a couple years here, so I'm sure that didn't help my cause. And other than that, I feel really comfortable here, and it's great to come back to a place where I have won and a place where I've played well. And obviously in '97, you know, it's my first big tournament. So all in all, I feel positive.
Right here in the blue.
Venus, the first set was very close, and the last set it just wasn't as close. What do you think you did differently between the start of the match to the end of the match that allowed you to excel so well?
I think I just started finding a little bit better rhythm in the second set. It's not easy to find a rhythm in that kind of weather, but I was trying, and just trying to really get on top of it. And you know, at the end, it still was a break to win the match, but you know, it wasn't. Sometimes she was like shanking too, and it would just go in, and it was like, will one of these please go out? But it just shows the quality. Like she could still not hit it in the middle of the racket and still make it to play. So it was good.
And here.
Venus, how has your knee been? Your dad, you talked about it earlier. Your dad said he was a little worried. How's your knee doing?
I'm okay. No complaints. I'm in the tournament, and I can't complain. You know, I never do. So I'm okay.
So you're feeling physically you're okay, even though you had issues at some point of getting back. So what could the competition, as long as you go into the competition, you feel much better physically, 100%?
I think as an athlete, you learn how to. Everybody's injured, basically, so it's not just me. And you learn how to deal with that and how to maintain yourself, how to, you know, deal with you know, certain levels of pain, and you figure it out. So I mean, as athletes, we're tough. So unless we can't walk, we come on the court. So
how much of that played into this game that just happened with Francesca Schiavone? You know, I know you said, you know, that she always comes and, you know, like you were saying, that she always gives you a good fight that other girls don't. How much of that physically did you really get into? Did it actually affect you at all, or mentally, or how you get into the next match?
what affect me?
Did it give you a chance to really assess your physicality and say that, okay, you
Oh.
know what, despite, our competitiveness, I'm okay next game physically.
Yeah, I mean, it's good too. I have 2 days to work on my game and to recover and get ready for the Friday, which will be a great day. And like I said, no complaints.
2 last questions for
Venus,
everybody.
a lot of people talk about how you don't see 14-year-olds or 16-year-olds play at the top of the game in women's tennis these days or the last couple of years. What would you attribute that to?
I don't know if 14-year-olds are allowed to play, are they? If they get a wild card in the majors, I think so. So there's a lot more limits. And, it's not easy to be a phenom. It's not a walk in the park. It doesn't happen every day. So, yeah.
Last
But
question,
do you
Craig.
think it's
Sorry,
also-
right over here, Craig.
Venus, if Sam was to turn this match around and you're playing her, look ahead to that possibility.
Yeah, I played her in Madrid, I think, last. We haven't played a ton in our career, maybe even a couple of times in doubles, but she played really, really well, and I felt like she just brought everything at me and just hitting the ball a ton. So if I do play her, I guess maybe I'll expect her to just come at me again.